Hi, it's John and welcome to the channel. 8:35 a.m. Wednesday, July the 30th, my second video today. Still have the big blue mug of coffee. I'm recording this in the morning, so still lots of time for coffee, folks. But you're seeing this a little bit later on. I did a video earlier this morning where I asked a very blunt question of Premier Danielle Smith. Not on behalf of the Alberta independence movement. I don't represent them, but I do want Alberta independence. So check that video out. I'll put a link in the description. I'll put a card at the end so you can click on it. And if you watched it, thanks. I hope you gave it a thumbs up. It helps the channel. So this is a follow-up video to one I did way back on July 6th. This is the thumbnail I put up for it. Why was Thomas Lukaszuk's application accepted? I wrote the Chief Electoral Officer of Alberta to find out. Thomas Lukaszuk, former Deputy Premier of Alberta. I think he has an axe to grind. I think he's a narcissist. I think his application and his possible referendum question is a joke. And I was wondering why the Chief Electoral Officer of Alberta allowed it and approved it. So I wrote an email. If we go over to Alberta Elections or Elections Alberta, here are the current citizens' initiatives. Let me move my picture out of the way here so you can see the bottom one. Alberta Forever Canada, Thomas Lukaszuk, application approved. So they have to get signatures now, and there'll be a referendum question out there. You know, I'll give you the question in just a moment. You can see down here, Alberta independence are pending. The Alberta Prosperity Project, not too pleased about that. It's been sent to Alberta Court of King's Bench. So we're going to have to wait to see if what happens with that in the future. Hopefully it gets approved as well. So what did I write to Mr. McClure, who is the Chief Electoral Officer of Alberta, back on July the 6th. Now, let me just tell you this. I was waiting for a response, and I didn't see one until today, but I realized that it got shuffled into my spam folder, and it was sent out on the 10th of July, so 4 days after I sent it out, so my bad. But they did send me a response, and I'm going to get to that in just a moment. So subject, questions regarding the recent approval of Citizens' Initiative referendum. I'm writing to seek clarity regarding the recent approval of a citizens' initiative for a referendum on the question, and this is the question they want. Do you agree that Alberta should remain in Canada? I would appreciate it if you could address the following questions concerning your approval of this initiative. Number one, assuming the response options for this question are yes or no, what would be the outcome if a majority of Albertans vote no? Two, if the outcome remains the same regardless of how people vote, what is the purpose of this referendum question? More importantly, why was it approved? 3, should time, effort, and taxpayer money be spent on a referendum that, regardless of the result, maintains the status quo? 4, if the purpose of this referendum is purely partisan, to pressure the Premier into supporting the petition, which appears to be the petitioner's intent, see link below, and I included a link where Mr. Lukaszuk basically says that. Is this an appropriate use of your office? Your mandate states that, quote, Elections Alberta is an independent, nonpartisan, my bold type, office of the Legislative Assembly responsible for administering provincial elections, by-elections, and referenda, unquote. 5, is a petition designed to influence or pressure a single individual, the Premier, a responsible and nonpartisan use of your time and taxpayer resources? I believe Albertans deserve clear answers to these questions before this initiative proceeds any further. Thank you for your time and attention to this matter. So, of course, I was waiting for the response, and I got one. And I'm not very pleased with it because this doesn't tell me anything. It answers none of my questions. And it's basically them sending out a form letter because they think I'm being a nuisance. And I'm not. I want the answers to the question. I'm a taxpayer. I need to get answers. These people are paid by taxpayers like you and me. So here we go. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's a waste of time. Good morning, Mr. Bolton. Thank you for your email with questions regarding the Citizen Initiative Act and associated processes relating to the approval of Citizen Initiative applications. Elections Alberta implements legislation passed by the Legislative Assembly of Alberta. In the case of Citizen Initiative applications, petitions, and resulting votes, Elections Alberta reviews, verifies, and conducts the votes in accordance to the Act and other election legislation. Do I need to go that much farther? All they're telling me here is how the Chief Electoral Officer either accepts or rejects applications. Section 11 in the second paragraph of the Act provides that in situations of unsuccessful petitions, the Chief Electoral Officer must publish a notice on the website If we move to the next paragraph, in the case of a successful petition, the Chief Electoral Officer must submit a copy of the proposal to the Speaker of the Legislative Assembly. So basically, we're getting how all this process is done, but not answers to my questions on why this particular application was accepted. And I think they were valid questions. And just to finish up, here is the final part of it. If you have concerns regarding the requirements of the Citizen Initiative Act, you can raise those with your member of the Legislative Assembly. And of course, Dawn Johnson, she, her, and at the bottom you can see there is a land acknowledgement at the bottom. Of course there is. So folks, I didn't get any answers at all. And again, I think they just saw me as being a nuisance, and I wasn't being a nuisance. I have valid questions. I would like them answered. Am I going to follow up on this? I don't think so. I don't think it's worth the time and effort. I still think Mr. Lukaszuk's possible referendum question is a waste of time for all the reasons I pointed out in that question to Mr. McClure. Shame on you for not answering my questions and getting some form letter sent out to me by one of your she-hers. The other thing that can happen here is because we have the pending question for Alberta independence out there, Mr. Lukaszuk could block a question on a referendum because these are similar questions regarding a similar topic. I'm not sure if that's 100% sure, but it's possible. The Alberta independence movement could be blocked by Mr. Lukaszuk and his question, which I don't think should have been approved in the first place. I think he's a narcissist, and I think he has an axe to grind. I think there's a lot of people who have been involved with Alberta politics a lot longer than me that would probably confirm what I just said. Thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. I didn't get any answers, but I told you I would follow up. And I don't think I'm going to follow up any further. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications. I'll see you with the big blue mug in the next one. Have a great day.